What happens when an undercover CEO sees a hard-working single mum struggling through her shift and realizes she's been sacrificing far more than anyone knew? Michael Grant, CEO of Grayson's Market, stood in the employee locker room adjusting his worn-out polo shirt. Dressed as Mike, a new stockroom worker, he looked every bit the tired labourer. His goal was simple: investigate troubling reports about poor staff morale, overworked employees, and signs that management was cutting corners at one of his busiest stores. This wasn't Michael's first undercover visit, but this time something felt different. He wasn't prepared for what he was about to see. As Michael walked onto the store floor, the chaos was immediate. Cashiers scrambled to keep up with impatient lines, shelves sat half-stocked, and employees darted back and forth answering questions. Near the deli counter, Michael spotted a young woman, Rachel Carter, juggling multiple tasks. She carefully prepared sandwiches while answering customer requests and checking inventory on a clipboard. "Rachel!" barked Sharon, the assistant manager. "We're out of prepped salads. Get on that." "I will," Rachel called back, barely finishing a customer's order before rushing to the prep station. Michael noticed Rachel's exhaustion, her faded apron, her tired eyes, and the subtle wince she made every time she bent down. But she kept moving, fast, efficient, and determined. During break time, Michael sat across from Rachel in the cramped employee lounge. She barely touched her sandwich as she scrolled through her phone, her eyes darting between text messages. "Everything okay?" Michael asked casually. Rachel gave a forced smile. "Yeah, just checking in on my son." "How old is he?" "5, she said softly. "He's with my neighbor right now. I just need to make sure he's all right." "Sounds like a handful," Michael said. "He's my world." Rachel smiled briefly, but her face fell just as quickly. I can't be home much. I keep picking up extra shifts to cover his daycare fees." "That's tough," Michael said. "Does management give you a break at least?" Rachel gave a bitter laugh. "Not really. If I take a day off, my hours get cut. I can't afford that." Michael felt a knot in his stomach. No one should have to live like this. That afternoon, Sharon's voice rang out from the other side of the store. "Rachel, why aren't the shelves stocked yet? I asked you twice." "I'm sorry," Rachel called back. "I'm trying to finish the prep orders." "Stop making excuses," Sharon barked. "We're behind because you can't keep up." Michael saw Rachel's hands tremble slightly as she wiped them on her apron and hurried to the shelves. Determined to help, Michael grabbed a cart of items and joined her. "I've got this side," Michael offered quietly. "You don't have to," Rachel muttered, grabbing a stack of cans. "I want to," Michael said firmly. "You're doing too much." Hours later, just before closing, Michael noticed Rachel kneeling behind the bakery counter, her breathing heavy and her face pale. "Rachel?" Michael asked, approaching her. I'm fine," Rachel gasped. She struggled to stand but faltered, grabbing the counter for support. "No," Michael said firmly. "You need to sit down." "I can't," Rachel murmured. "I just need a minute." But before she could finish, her knees buckled and she collapsed to the floor. "Somebody get help," Michael shouted. Employees rushed over as Michael knelt beside Rachel, helping her sit upright. "Just breathe," Michael said softly. "I'm right here." A few minutes later, Rachel sat in the break room, sipping water as Michael hovered nearby. Her face was still pale, but she seemed more stable now. "I'm sorry," Rachel whispered. I haven't been sleeping much." "You have nothing to be sorry for," Michael said firmly. "You're pushing yourself too hard." "I don't have a choice," Rachel said quietly. "If I don't work, my son and I lose everything." Michael's chest tightened. Rachel wasn't just exhausted, she was drowning. "This isn't right," Michael muttered to himself. "And I'm going to fix it." Michael Grant couldn't shake the image of Rachel collapsing the previous evening. The pale face, trembling hands, and the quiet apology still haunted him. This wasn't just exhaustion. This was someone barely surviving. He knew he couldn't let it continue. The next morning, Michael arrived early and found Rachel quietly stacking cans in aisle 4. "Hey," Michael said softly. "How are you feeling?" "Better," Rachel replied with a tired smile. "I just didn't get much sleep." "You shouldn't be working today," Michael said. "You need rest." Rachel shook her head firmly. "I can't afford to miss a shift." She paused, lowering her voice. "Sharon's already threatened to cut my hours if I don't keep up." Michael's jaw clenched. Threatened to cut her hours? "Rachel," Michael said gently, "this job shouldn't be costing you your health." "It's not about me," Rachel said, her voice faltering. "It's about my son." Michael knew Rachel wouldn't quit, but he knew exactly who he needed to confront next. Michael found Sharon at the front desk, tapping aggressively at her keyboard. "We need to talk," Michael said firmly. "I'm busy," Sharon muttered without looking up. "Make time," Michael snapped, his patience gone. Sharon turned, eyes narrowing. "Fine. 5 minutes." In her office, Sharon crossed her arms. "What's the problem now?" "Rachel," Michael said bluntly. "She collapsed yesterday, and you've been pushing her too hard." "Rachel's always behind," Sharon scoffed. "She's slow, distracted, and honestly, she brings her problems on herself." "She's working herself sick," Michael said firmly. "And instead of helping her, you're threatening her. That stops now." "With all due respect," Sharon said coldly, "this store doesn't run on sympathy. If people can't keep up, they don't belong here." Michael's gaze hardened. "You'll regret those words." That afternoon, Michael gathered the employees in the break room. "I know things haven't been easy here," Michael began. "But the way this team's been treated isn't just unfair, it's dangerous." Murmurs spread through the room. Workers exchanged uneasy glances. "Starting now," Michael continued, "we're making changes. Everyone gets proper breaks, no exceptions. If you need help on shift, you ask. No one carries everything alone." "And what about Rachel?" a voice called from the back. It was Tanya, a cashier. "Sharon's been riding her for weeks. Rachel's been doing twice the work anyone else should," Michael replied firmly. "That ends today." Later that day, Michael found Rachel restocking frozen foods. "Hey," he said, "I need a favor." Rachel turned, looking surprised. "What kind of favor?" "I need you to help me train some of the newer employees," Michael said. "They're behind on stocking procedures, and you know this store better than anyone." "Me?" Rachel's eyes widened. I'm just a part-timer." "You're more than that," Michael said. "You're the hardest worker in this place, and the one person I know everyone trusts." Rachel's tired expression softened. I'd love to help." That evening, Sharon stormed into the break room, furious. "I don't know what you're trying to pull," she spat at Michael, "but you can't just change the rules without going through corporate." "I don't need to," Michael said calmly. "Because I am corporate." He reached into his pocket, revealing his CEO business card. Sharon's face turned pale. "Wait, you're—" "That's right," Michael said coldly. "I've seen enough, and as of today, you're done. Collect your things." The next morning, Michael walked into the store early. Rachel stood by the coffee station, chatting with Tanya, and for the first time, she looked at ease. "Morning," Michael greeted. "Hey," Rachel smiled. "I heard about Sharon. I don't know what you said, but thank you." "You earned this," Michael said. "This store's lucky to have you." Rachel wiped her eyes, her smile growing. "I think, for the first time in a long time, I feel like things are going to be okay." "They will be," Michael promised, "because people like you deserve better." The days following Sharon's dismissal felt different at Grayson's Market. The tension that once filled the air had lifted, and employees seemed lighter, more engaged. But for Rachel, the pressure hadn't disappeared. It had simply shifted. With Sharon gone, Rachel knew she'd be under a microscope. Could she prove she was capable of more than just surviving? "Hey, Rachel," Michael Grant said one afternoon, stepping up beside her. "How's everything going?" "Better," Rachel said, her tone uncertain. I don't know if I'm doing enough." "You're doing great," Michael reassured her, "and I want you to take on more, if you're ready." "More?" Rachel's eyes widened. "I'm barely keeping up as it is." "I'm not asking you to take on everything," Michael said, "but I'd like you to help train the newer employees. They trust you, and honestly, you know this store better than most managers I've met." Rachel shook her head. "I'm just a part-timer." "No," Michael said firmly. "You're the heart of this place, and it's time you saw that." Rachel agreed to help, and within days, she found herself guiding 2 new hires, Sam and Megan, through stocking procedures, register protocols, and customer service tips. "Rachel's great," Sam told Michael one afternoon. "She's patient, explains things well. Honestly, she's better than Sharon ever was." But not everyone was convinced. Tina, a long-time employee loyal to Sharon, watched Rachel with narrowed eyes. "She's not manager material," Tina muttered. "She's just trying to impress the new boss." Michael overheard and stepped in. "Actually," he said calmly, "Rachel's earned her place here, and I'm proud of how she's stepping up." Tina scoffed, but said nothing more. One afternoon, while managing both her deli duties and helping Sam on the register, Rachel overheard her phone buzzing from the break room. "Can you cover for me for 2 minutes?" Rachel asked Sam urgently. Moments later, Rachel answered her phone. "Mommy!" her son cried. "The power's out and I'm scared." "It's okay, sweetie," Rachel said soothingly. "I'll get home soon, I promise." "But it's dark." Her son sobbed. Rachel's heart ached. "I know, baby, I know, just hold tight. I'll be home as fast as I can." As she hung up, Michael appeared in the doorway. "Everything all right?" I need to go home," Rachel said, voice shaky. "My son's alone, and the power's out." "Go," Michael said without hesitation. "I'll cover your shift." Rachel's eyes widened. "You'd do that?" "Of course," Michael said with a smile. "Your son comes first." The next morning, Rachel arrived at work, unsure how to face Michael. But instead of frustration, he greeted her with a smile. "Everything okay at home?" Michael asked. "Yeah, thanks to you," Rachel said softly. "I know I put you in a tough spot." "Actually," Michael grinned, "I think I sold 5 rotisserie chickens last night, so I'd say I crushed it." Rachel laughed, a genuine carefree laugh. For the first time in months, she felt like things were getting better. A week later, a major shipment arrived unexpectedly. Cases of frozen food that required urgent unloading. The crew was short-staffed, and employees scrambled to organize the chaos. "I can stay late," Rachel volunteered. "I know you need the help." "Are you sure?" Michael asked. "You've already worked 8 hours." "I can handle it," Rachel insisted. "And I want to." Rachel spent the next 2 hours organizing inventory, stacking boxes, and helping Sam sort deliveries. When the final pallet was unloaded, Rachel wiped her brow, exhausted but proud. "Nice work," Michael said. "You didn't just help. You led the team." Rachel smiled, her confidence finally returning. "I guess I did." The following week, Michael called Rachel into his office. "I wanted to say thank you," Michael began. "You've stepped up when things were tough, and that's what this store needs." "I'm just doing my job," Rachel said modestly. "You're doing a lot more than that," Michael insisted. "That's why I'd like you to take on a new role, as assistant manager." Rachel's breath caught. "Me? But I'm just—" "You're not just anything," Michael said firmly. "You're strong, dedicated, and you care about this place, and that's what makes you the perfect fit." Rachel wiped her eyes. I don't know what to say." "Say yes," Michael smiled. "You've earned it." With tears of gratitude in her eyes, Rachel nodded. Yes, I'd love that." Rachel stood in the manager's office, adjusting her new assistant manager name tag. The sight of her own name on the shiny silver plate still didn't feel real. Just weeks ago, she had been an exhausted employee, barely holding her life together. Now, she had earned the trust of her co-workers, and of Michael Grant, the CEO who believed in her when no one else did. But Rachel knew the hard work wasn't over yet. Rachel's first few days as assistant manager were overwhelming. The team was still adjusting to Sharon's absence, and while Rachel knew the store inside and out, leadership brought new challenges. One afternoon, Rachel found Sam and Megan, the two new employees she'd trained, arguing over shelving. Assignments. "You said I'd handle the cereal aisle today," Sam protested. "Yeah, but you keep messing it up," Megan shot back. "Hey," Rachel said firmly, stepping between them. "Fighting isn't going to fix this. Let's figure it out together." Rachel divided the tasks fairly, ensuring both Sam and Megan felt heard. As they returned to work, Sam smiled. "You're pretty good at this manager stuff," Rachel chuckled. "I'm learning as I go." A week later, Rachel faced her biggest test yet. The store's point-of-sale system crashed. Registers froze, card, payments failed, and frustrated customers grew impatient. Employees scrambled to manage the chaos, but panic spread quickly. "Rachel," Tanya called, "we've got 3 angry customers demanding refunds, and no system to process them." Rachel felt panic creeping in, but she took a deep breath. "Think, Rachel, think." "All right," Rachel said. "We'll go old school. Grab notepads. We'll write down each transaction, mark their totals, and process everything manually once the system's back up." "But what if customers get upset?" Tanya asked. "Then we explain honestly," Rachel said firmly. "People get frustrated, but they also understand when you're up front." For the next hour, Rachel led the team with calm determination, tracking sales, assisting customers, and reassuring anxious employees. When the system finally restarted, everything balanced perfectly. "You handled that like a pro," Michael said afterward. "I'm proud of you." "Honestly," Rachel grinned. "I'm just glad I didn't pass out this time." Both of them laughed. And for the first time in a long while, Rachel believed in herself. One evening, Rachel was helping restock shelves when a small boy's voice rang out. "Mommy!" Rachel turned. Her son, Ethan, was running toward her, arms outstretched. Behind him stood Michael, smiling warmly. "Ethan!" Rachel gasped, kneeling to scoop him into her arms. "What are you doing here?" "I figured you could use a surprise," Michael said. "I arranged for Ethan's sitter to bring him by." "Thank you," Rachel whispered, blinking back tears. "This means more than you know." "Actually," Michael said, "there's something else." The next morning, Michael gathered the entire team in the break room. "This store has faced some big changes recently," Michael began. "And through all of it, one person stepped up, not just to work harder, but to lift others up along the way." He turned to Rachel. "Rachel, you've shown strength, kindness, and leadership when this store needed it most. That's why I'd like to officially offer you the position of store manager, if you'll accept." Rachel's hand flew to her mouth. "Me? But I'm still learning." "And you've already proven you're the leader this store deserves," Michael said. "You care about the people here, and that's what makes you the right person for this." With teary eyes and a shaky smile, Rachel nodded. "I'd be honored." Weeks later, Rachel stood in her new office, her very own, overlooking the store floor. Employees bustled below, chatting and laughing between tasks. The once tense atmosphere was now warm and welcoming. Rachel's phone buzzed. A text from Michael. "Proud of you. Never forget what you're capable of." Rachel smiled. "I won't," she whispered to herself. She glanced at a photo of Ethan on her desk, then stepped out onto the floor, where her team, her family, and her future awaited. If this story moved you, remember, kindness, resilience, and hard work can change lives. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories like this.